What is the one trait that can bring even the strongest man to his knees? This isn't about physical strength or mental acuity. This trait, my friends, is the insidious enemy of personal growth, the silent killer of dreams. It preys on insecurities and magnifies doubt. It whispers lies in the dead of night, convincing men they are not enough. By recognizing this trait, understanding its origins, and actively fighting back, men can break free from its grasp. Throughout this video, we will delve deep into the heart of this debilitating trait. We'll expose its secrets, analyze its impact, and arm you with the knowledge to defeat it. This is about more than just identifying a weakness. It's about understanding the societal pressures and expectations that fuel it. We'll explore how these external forces can warp our perceptions of masculinity, leading us down a dangerous path. By understanding the origins of this trait, we can begin to dismantle its power over us. Join me as we embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the potential within.
From a young age, boys are bombarded with messages about what it means to be a man. These messages, often unspoken but ever present, form a rigid framework that can feel inescapable. Strength, stoicism, dominance. These become the pillars of an idealized masculinity that few can ever truly attain. We see it in the media, we hear it in casual conversation, and we feel it in the expectations of our fathers and peers. Men are taught to be providers, protectors, and problem solvers. Emotions are to be suppressed. Vulnerability is a sign of weakness, and seeking help is tantamount to failure. The result is a generation of men disconnected from their emotions, their needs, and their authentic selves. To navigate this treacherous landscape, many men adopt a persona, a carefully constructed mask designed to conceal any perceived flaws or vulnerabilities. This masculine mask becomes a shield, protecting them from the scrutiny of a world that values strength above all else. Behind this facade of stoicism and self-reliance, a silent struggle often rages. Men are taught to bury their emotions, to man up and push through pain, but suppressing these feelings doesn't make them disappear. It simply drives them underground, where they fester and grow. This disconnect between the external mask and the internal reality can have devastating consequences. Men trapped in this cycle often feel like they're living a lie, unable to connect authentically with others or even themselves. But the price of conformity extends far beyond the individual. When men are afraid to show vulnerability, they struggle to form genuine connections. Relationships become superficial, intimacy is elusive, and the cycle of emotional suppression continues. This emotional detachment also has a ripple effect on society as a whole. It manifests in aggression, violence, and a reluctance to seek help when it's needed. The pressure to maintain this masculine facade ultimately harms everyone, men and women alike. By challenging the societal norms that perpetuate this harmful trait, we can create a world where men feel empowered to embrace their full selves, vulnerabilities and all.
So, what is this insidious trait that holds so many men captive? It is the relentless, insatiable need for external validation. This isn't about a healthy desire for approval or recognition. This is about a deep-seated insecurity that demands constant affirmation from others. It's about measuring self-worth based on the opinions of others, rather than on one's own values and accomplishments. This need for validation can manifest in countless ways, from chasing fleeting praise at work to seeking constant reassurance in relationships. A man trapped in the clutches of validation seeking might find himself constantly boasting about his achievements, inflating his accomplishments to elicit admiration. He might shy away from challenges or risks, terrified of failure and the judgment it might bring. He might become overly concerned with his appearance, equating physical attractiveness with worthiness. Or he might mold himself into who he thinks others want him to be, sacrificing his authenticity in a desperate bid for acceptance. This constant need for approval becomes an exhausting performance, a never-ending quest to please others that leaves him feeling empty and unfulfilled. The need for validation thrives on insecurity. It whispers doubts, magnifying flaws and amplifying fears. It convinces men that they are not enough, not strong enough, not successful enough, not worthy of love and respect. And the more a man seeks validation from outside himself, the more elusive it becomes. Each fleeting moment of praise or approval only serves to deepen the hunger, leading to a relentless pursuit of an ever-shifting target. This vicious cycle can trap men in a state of perpetual self-doubt, eroding their self-esteem and hindering their personal growth. Now, it's important to acknowledge that the desire for validation isn't inherently bad. In fact, it's a natural human need to feel accepted and valued by others. In healthy doses, seeking feedback and approval can be motivating, driving us to improve and strive for excellence. The problem arises when this desire becomes an insatiable need, a driving force that dictates our actions and shapes our self-perception. When we become overly reliant on external validation, we relinquish control of our own lives, handing over the reins to the fickle whims of others. The key is to cultivate a strong sense of self-worth that is independent of external approval, a foundation built on our own values, passions, and accomplishments. Breaking free from the chains of validation seeking is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It requires courage to confront our insecurities, to challenge the limiting beliefs that keep us trapped in this cycle. It's about reclaiming our power, recognizing that true validation comes from within. This isn't about becoming indifferent to the opinions of others. It's about shifting our focus from seeking external approval to cultivating internal validation. It's about defining our own worth based on our own values and aspirations, rather than relying on the fleeting judgments of others. This journey is not always easy, but it is essential for living an authentic and fulfilling life.
Now, some might argue, isn't the need for validation just one of many flaws men battle? What about anger, pride, or even fear of failure? It's true, these are all formidable foes on the path to personal growth. Each can lead men astray, hindering their progress and causing unnecessary pain. Anger, for example, can be a destructive force, damaging relationships and creating unnecessary conflict. Pride can blind us to our own shortcomings, preventing us from seeking help and learning from our mistakes. And fear of failure can paralyze us, keeping us from pursuing our dreams and reaching our full potential. But the need for validation sits at the heart of this web of weakness. Let's consider how validation seeking fuels these other destructive tendencies. A man desperate for approval might lash out in anger when he feels his worth is being questioned. He might cling to pride as a defense mechanism, masking his deep-seated insecurities with a veneer of arrogance. And fear of failure becomes all the more crippling when his self-worth is tied to external achievements. The thought of not measuring up to others' expectations becomes unbearable, leading to avoidance and a perpetual state of what if. The need for validation is not just another flaw, it's a catalyst. It's the fuel that ignites the fire of these other destructive tendencies, making them burn hotter and longer. Furthermore, the need for validation sets the stage for a vicious cycle of self-sabotage. It leads men to prioritize short-term gratification over long-term fulfillment. They might chase fleeting pleasures or engage in risky behaviors to gain approval from the wrong crowd, sacrificing their values and integrity in the process. This constant need for external validation can also manifest in unhealthy competition and comparison with others. Instead of celebrating the successes of others, a man trapped in this cycle might feel threatened or envious, fueling a toxic sense of rivalry and resentment.
We've discussed the theory, gentlemen, but theory without application is like a car without an engine. It's going nowhere. So, let's delve into the real-world impact of this insidious trait. Let's examine the lives it has touched, the dreams it has shattered, and the relationships it has poisoned. I've worked with countless men over the years, each battling their own demons. There was Mark, a brilliant artist crippled by self-doubt, terrified of showcasing his work for fear of criticism. Mark's need for validation had turned his passion into a source of anxiety. Then there was David, a driven entrepreneur who had achieved remarkable success on paper. He had built a thriving business, yet beneath the surface, he was deeply unhappy. David was a slave to the opinions of others, constantly chasing the next accolade, the next headline, the next pat on the back. His need for validation had driven him to achieve great things, but it had also robbed him of his joy. He was so focused on external markers of success that he had lost sight of his own values and what truly mattered to him. David's story is a reminder that true success is not measured by external validation, but by the fulfillment we find in aligning our actions with our values.
But perhaps the most poignant story is that of me, a father struggling to connect with my teenage son. I was raised in an environment where vulnerability was equated with weakness, and I had built walls around my heart. I desperately wanted to be a good father, but my fear of showing weakness created a chasm between me and my son. It wasn't until I was able to confront my own need for validation, to let go of the fear of judgment, that I was able to break down those walls and build a bridge of authenticity with my son. It was a long and arduous journey, but the reward was a bond built on love, respect, and genuine connection. My story is a testament to the transformative power of vulnerability.
We've journeyed deep into the heart of a trait that weakens countless men, the insatiable need for validation. We've explored its origins, its manifestations, and its devastating impact on lives and relationships. But this isn't a message of despair, gentlemen, but a call to action. Recognizing this trait within ourselves is the first step towards breaking free from its grasp. It's about shifting our focus from seeking external approval to cultivating inner strength and self-worth. True strength lies not in conforming to a narrow definition of masculinity, but in embracing our authentic selves, vulnerabilities, and all. It's about living a life defined by our own values, pursuing our passions with courage, and connecting with others on a deeper, more meaningful level. Remember, the journey starts with a single step. Take it today. Now, I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments below. And if you're ready to dive deeper into personal growth and overcoming challenges, be sure to check out my next video, where we'll explore powerful strategies for building unshakable confidence and living a life of purpose.